What's going on, guys? Just wanted to go over how I play the game ethically. All right, no cheese. If you're looking for the meta, you're not gonna find it here. I'm pretty good. I like to think I'm pretty good amongst my peers. I'm one of the better players. I was top 100 in the world in NCAA 14 for like the first month, but I was, in high school at the time, and I didn't have the ability to play as many games as you need to play to maintain that type of ranking. So we are just gonna hop into it here. This is an online Dynasty league that I have with some of my friends. We all have good teams. We all have cracked rosters. It's like year 6, right? We've all got 99 overall rosters, which is something I'd like to see change in the coming games. We shouldn't all have 99 rosters. Anyways, let's just jump into it. I've been really liking the 2x2 sets where you'll have 2 receivers on each side and you'll have a running back. That's an option as well. The reason I enjoy these is because you can run 2 different passing concepts on each side of the field, right? So hypothetically, you should have an answer for every defense. On this particular pattern, my read goes 1 to the flat route with our running back. We've got 2 on a quick hitch. Our second read is this quick hitch here on our number 2 receiver. Our third read is our number 1 receiver coming on a deep dig. On the left side, we've got a wheel route. We've got a deep post. Now, it looks like he's in a cover 4 shell. Now, cover 4 shells are one of the harder to read because oftentimes they can be dropping into a cover 3. There's a lot of defensive plays that have a cover 4 shell that end up being a cover 3. Or match, which can be really difficult to read. In which case, if this is match, this is going to be quarters. It's not going to be palms. If you want to learn how to read quarters and palms, I'm not your guy. I kind of know how they work, but not good enough to explain. Go find somebody else that's way smarter than me. There's a bunch of people out there that have explained it. And I've watched a lot of videos, and I still don't really understand 3 match, quarters, palms. Trap coverages can be really difficult. So don't rely on me to explain that to you. Anyways, he's in a cover 4 shell here. I don't really know what he's running. I probably should run the ball here because he's got 5 guys in the box. But this is one of my go-to plays early on in the game. So we've got 1, read, 2, read, 3, read. Now what I end up seeing here is actually against everything that I just said in terms of my progression. So when we snap the ball, what this user likes to do, which I quickly discovered, is he'll user a defensive lineman, and then once he realizes it's a passing play, he will try and cover underneath stuff with one of his linemen, and you'll just have all day in the pocket, which is just, it's not a good method. It'll work a couple times, but once your opponent figures you out, it's over. So what I end up doing here, I don't take my reads. I see him chase my running back to the flat there early, so I take my eyes off of it, and he comes off of it. So this is what I should have ended up doing. This receiver also comes open, but I had my eyes on the deep post here, thinking that something cool could happen because I see this deep safety here up top. And once I see him turn his hips that way, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to cross his face and we're going to have a big play here. Well, he turns around like a god and gets over there, makes it a double coverage throw, and we get a drop. So we move on to second down. No harm, no foul. We're good. No worries. I get a little taste of what he's going to do, and we come out and cheat tight end seam or something like that. We get a motion wheel route here. We get a quick out. We get a corner, and we get a 5-yard hitch, and we get an inside wheel. So typically you're going to want to read 1 to 2, and then maybe this could be your 3. This is actually probably your 2 or 3. What I like to read is I will actually have this as my 1 read, this 5-yard out, especially early on in a game like this where it's loud. I can't call a ton of audibles. I need to get some yards and try and quiet the crowd. I will look at this quick out first a lot because it comes open against most coverages. Unless they're shaded down, I got some hard flats. However, I noticed that he's in man as this motion comes across. I see him getting chased, and I think, oh, he's going to outrun him. This is a big-time receiver. He's very fast, 96 speed. So my eyes immediately go to the 1 receiver here. Boom, looks like he's got leverage. He's got a couple steps on him. We launch it. and he drops it. Great receiver. He's got sure hands. He's got 50-50, and he just drops it. But you know what? That's real. Hey, Ryan Williams, Georgia, at Georgia, big play early in the game, wide open, drops a touchdown. It happens, okay? We move on. We keep it pushing. I run a similar concept here. We've got our slow tight end running this wheel, so I'm probably not really looking at him. He's not much of a receiving threat. I audible our one receiver here to a deep post. We've got a flat and we've got a drag. Now, it's 3rd and 10, so we're probably not looking underneath, even though I should have. It ends up being the open play. What I'm thinking here pre-snap is I think this guy is going to come open. What evidence do I have to back that up? Because I've seen it happen before. I'm not really, it looks like maybe he's in a cover 2 shell, so this would probably not be a great option. And I don't really know exactly what he's in right now, so we end up having a tough play here. We pause it, we look. Again, it's 3rd and 10, so I'm not really looking at this flat, even though looking back, maybe I should have. We can try to break a tackle, get a first down. And then our tight end ends up coming open in the seam here. Again, really tight throw. This guy would come over, this guy would come over, this guy would come over. He's probably going to drop it, so I don't look at that. Our deep post. Is he getting over top? This guy would get back if I launched it. I don't know. Tough throw. Flat's wide open, but my eyes are gone at that point. Scrambling out. We see our guy here. We see it too late, and that young man turns around and runs towards the defense as soon as I decide to throw it, and we throw a terrible, terrible interception. Defensive side of the ball. Spread Y flex he is in. Now, what's really important, get used to reading their formation pre-snap, okay? I used to just look at personnel. I didn't even realize that this was here. And I was like, oh my God, they show you the formation, right? Which early on in a game, if you're playing a user that you don't know, you're not comfortable with, you don't know what they're doing, this may not be that much help. But I do know this user. It's still early on in the game, so we're kind of feeling it out. But I do know this user, and I know this is a 2x2 set. What's more important than formations defensively is your personnel. Just make sure you're matching the personnel. These formations don't matter too much unless you're running Cub or some sort of mug look. Then things are gonna change up a little bit. But 3-3 over versus 3-3 odd, you know, you're going to find the same plays in there. There's really not much of a difference other than how your defensive line is lining up. Don't get too caught up in your defensive formations is what I'm saying. Focus on the personnel and the plays that you're calling. So 2x2 set. It's also important to note that we are at the 23-yard line. He's basically in the red zone. So really I'm not worried about too much going on over the top. I'm more worried about underneath stuff. We've got elite man coverage corners. This is an elite coverage linebacker up against a tight end. In real life, we would love that matchup, but man coverage in this game is a little bit funky. Especially with tight ends, they can get weird speed boosts. Go watch my other video if you want to hear more about issues I have with this game. The tight ends and how fast they are when they should not be fast is one of my biggest pet peeves about this game. But we're not worried about anything over top. We're coming out in cover one robber, so this guy's got a deep half. This guy's got a hook curl. But again, not too concerned about that, so I'm going to bring this safety down in the box here to help underneath and maybe stop a run, which is exactly what happens. And my best safety gets hurt. Normal Y off. Get used to reading this every play. Be looking up here, okay? Normal Y off. I know that's a 2x2 set because it doesn't say trips or trio. I also just have seen this enough times that I know what it is. But generally a trips, anything with the 3 receivers to one side, 3 receiving threats to one side is going to say trips or trio or something like that. So he's coming out in 2x2. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm running man again. We come out in 2-man under this time. Again, not worried about the deep stuff. These guys are going to play underneath and inside leverage with cover 2 man. So you'll see when they snap the ball, they're going to kind of sit on this receiver's hip. And they're supposed to play inside, but we'll see a little bit later. Sometimes they still get burned. Cause an audible here. I end up switching over to our safety there, bringing him down. Another important note, our right side corner, number 1, Hope, is not the best. He's got really good man coverage, but he does not have good jamming. Now, this receiver is not even a star, so maybe he's not that good, so maybe I shouldn't worry about it. But I end up backing off of this receiver here. You can see, and then I bring my safety down to help if he, runs a quick inside route or just help underneath. And let's see what happens. We've got pretty much everything boxed except that flat, and then we get a defensive holding on my user, which happened literally after he threw the ball. Hey, bad calls. Look, we can't lose our composure. We got to stay locked in. He's coming out in pistol Y trips, okay? I'm probably just, at this point, I'm thinking, you know what? We're boxing him up in man. I'm just going to keep running man and let the chips fall where they may, okay? So, again, I'm taking my deep blue zone, and I'm saying we don't have to worry about that deep blue. He's in a deep half. He's probably going to play like in, he's not going to do his job if we just let the CPU do it, so I bring him down in the box, try to help in the box. We get another run play. We stuff it. We've got some maulers on the D-line, okay? A lot of grit breaker, a lot of inside disruptor going on. All right, now we see single back Y-off trips, so we know it's a 3x1. Maybe I'll talk in a different video about 2x2 versus 3x1 defense, but not right now. C's in trips. Got a couple different things I like to run against trips. Typically cover 2 man is not one of them, but again, at this position on the field, I think that's probably the right move. If we see what happens, you see this guy, he's playing underneath and inside. This guy defends the drag a lot better, not as good as I would like him to for inside and underneath leverage. And you can see this guy's kind of, giving up this space here. Just beautiful defense. Boxed. Empty, all right? Look at it every time. Another good thing. Come over here with your right stick. If you don't know, flick it to the right. It'll show you the play that they ran on the last play. Very useful. All right, he's coming out and empty. Now this is an interesting play, okay? We're in 2 man under again, underneath inside leverage across the board, okay? But this is what I'm talking about with man coverage getting kind of funny. He runs a double slant concept here. We're playing underneath and inside, so a slant is kind of the antithesis of a route that you would want to beat cover 2 man because they're playing underneath and inside. So if he's running underneath and inside, our corner should be here. Our defensive back should be here following it. They get absolutely toasted. I bring my safety in to defend this. This guy was coming open, hard to see. He panics a little bit, makes a tough throw in the end zone, and we get him to 4th down. He hurries up into empty as well. I stick in 2 man. We get some really good jamming action across the board here. If you watch the left side, this 84 glitches out in his route. I had the inside leverage, though, if he did come inside. So, pause. We've got everything boxed up here. He could maybe try a throw up here to the tight end. We end up pressuring him, getting a hit on the quarterback, and a turnover on downs. Back to the offensive side of the ball. I'm starting to notice that he's in single high quite a bit. Okay, so that's just something that's in the back of my mind. I end up running 0-1 trap here. We get a good little run. All right, now I come out in a bubble, and I actually end up reversing the formation here. We're in an RPO bubble here, so we get a quick run option. This guy's running a bubble. Really what I look at here is I'm just watching these 3 defenders. If they're covering this bubble well, then I don't press anything and I let them run it. If they back up or if this guy blitzes, we throw the bubble. And again, in single high, this just will dominate anything that doesn't cover this man-to-man. So. Now, I maybe could have given that off. I think I probably would have gotten the same amount of yardage, but we end up picking up 4. We get ourselves to 3rd and 2. So in my brain here, I'm thinking, it's 4th and 1. We're at the 23. I hate that I ended up going for this. Just ethically, I think it sucks. But whatever. We end up going for it. And I'm thinking, I'm going to run the same play to the other side. I don't think he's going to be expecting it. He comes out in a weird-looking formation here. I don't know what this is. Really, I should have sent this guy on a streak. I should have sent this guy on a streak, and I should have done like a zig or something with him and then just blocked everyone else. But I'm fine with what I ended up doing. The same exact play. I know he's not going to be sitting on it. And we get a big play inside the 50. Okay, we come out in the box set again. This is one of my favorite plays in the game. We get a motion into a drag, and then we get a trail route. Trail routes are deadly in this game. We also get a corner here. So this is a really good play against man. The trail route will kill man. It will also come open against many different zone types, but you got to remember we're playing a user, right? So that'll muck things up a little bit. User's a lot more unpredictable. I believe he ends up using his D-line here again on this play, and he goes up and takes away the trail route. So I end up hitting the drag underneath, I believe. We'll pause and look at this concept. So he's in a cover 4 drop here. He's rushing 3, and he takes 1 away. So he's rushing 2, okay? The more you notice that, you know, it can be frustrating, it can be effective, but you figure out how to beat it, and once you start to notice it, you start to kill it, and you can stop people from doing that. So I end up hitting the drag here. Gets a big hit, gets hurt on the play. That was 3 injuries in this game. 3 injuries already for me. And we have injuries turned down to like 25. Okay, then I come out in my trips Y over formation here. This is a good one. It really overloads one side of the field. I really like to run the dive out of this formation. Run that a few times. And this is a really recognizable formation, right? With all the guys on this side of the field. So even your not so savvy players are going to recognize this formation and be like, oh, he runs the dive out of this. He really likes to run in the middle. So when they see this, you know, then you got a couple other options if you see them start to adjust to this inside run. So let's see what ends up happening here. This pattern is a really good one against man, and he's been running a lot of man. So you get your motion out to the quick flat. Against zone, one of these hitches will come open. This will come open against certain zones, not super reliable though. This route, however, is extremely good against man coverage. Unfortunately, on this play, I panic just a little bit. I get a little happy feet, and I end up just throwing the quick flat. And I wasn't patient enough to see if that man route was going to come open. Looking at the leverage, though, on that play, it looks like maybe it wasn't going to come open. So no harm, no foul. We get a couple yards, and it's 2nd and 8. What I encourage you to do is go into practice mode and get used to recognizing coverage shells. Again, coverage shells can be deceiving. If you totally rely on them, you will end up making a lot of mistakes. But it's a good starting point for, okay, maybe I'll look here first, and then if these defenders do something, then I'll go somewhere else. Practice mode. Anyways, this concept, you get a fade, you get a deep post, you get a hitch, and you get a wheel. I almost always throw this play to the delayed slant here. This guy's not much of a passing threat. We've got a deep safety over here. That's going to be boxed up. It's also 3rd and 7, so we're not obsessed with this route being short. But let's just see how this plays out here. All right, so from the snap, it looks like he's sitting on this guy, so I take my eyes off of it, right? And he's running it back into the middle. Take my eyes off of it. He's covered. He's covered. He's covered. He's covered. We might have a chance, you know, taking our shot, but I don't like it. Okay, so what ends up happening? Since he takes his little defensive lineman and chases out here, we have all the space in the world to pick up 25 yards. This is a really good man beater. We're motioning across into an RPO. When you're in man and you've got a motion, if this guy is chasing this guy across during the motion, he will get caught up, and you'll see here, you can get a big play out of it. Oh, that wasn't even man. That was not man. He did not get caught up. I don't know what he's running here. Some sort of zone blitz, maybe? I don't know. Either way, successful play. Bad analysis on me. I'll be better. All right, defensive side of the ball here. I see him come out in empty, and sometimes against empty, I'll run palms with a 2-man shell here at the bottom. because it'll press them up a little bit, and I know I've got the defensive backs to be able to do their job, even if they're a little bit out of position pre-snap. Now, what I know coming out in a two-man shell is oftentimes you'll get this craziness, which, why these guys are on opposite sides of the field clearly has something to do with the matchup logic in the game, and the two-man shell. But, I'd like this guy, obviously, to be over here, pressed up against this guy and this guy here. But I noticed that, so I quickly press X and then LT to reset the play. They lightly jog to their new positions, and they're late. We still end up getting a knockout, though. So in my head, I should have been thinking, well, he just ran those underneath routes. He's coming out in the exact same formation. He didn't take very long to call the play. He doesn't run the exact same thing, but he does run the mesh underneath, the double underneath, and I was not prepared for it. I ran Tampa 2, which is not the defense you want to run to stop underneath routes. Comes out in a bunch here against bunch. Bunch is so tough to defend. A lot of times I'll run cover 9 or cover 6. This time I decided to run man. Cover 1, and it was a great decision. We got him boxed up. All right, empty tray again. He runs the mesh concept again. We run cover 1. I have to chase the drags. His quarterback makes a bad throw, but we were there either way, I think. Still wouldn't have caught it. Bunch quads open. This formation sucks to defend. I end up coming out in man because there's not many things you can do out of this formation, but there's like 3 different plays that are all the complete opposite of each other where it gets really difficult to defend if somebody really knows what they're doing. So we come out in a blitz look here. I'm thinking, you know what, fuck it. I'm just 6 versus 5. Let's go. And then I end up panicking, and I'm like, no, I'm going to sit with my linebacker instead of just committing. And you'll see what ends up happening. I don't commit to either. I end up in no man's land. If I would have stayed, I would have been able to cover this. And if I would have immediately shot and done my job, maybe I would have gotten to the quarterback or at least, caused some pressure. And he ends up getting a big play. Bunch quads again. I come out in 2-man under thinking, hey, we're going to play underneath and inside. The reason this is not a good decision on my part is because with all of these guys bunched up over here, somebody's going to get caught up and picked off. Someone's going to get bumped into. So this is probably not a great decision, but it's what we run with. So we've got on the left here, we've got our best man coverage corner. He's got platinum jammer, platinum blanket, whatever. I'm thinking, hey, we're going to let him be on an island. I'm going to bring the safety down here and help these middle crossers that I know are coming. So when the ball is snapped, this guy gets absolutely toasted. So as I'm bringing my safety down to help this guy, now again, he's playing underneath and inside, so I guess maybe that makes a little sense that he got burned still. He should be able to jam that. I noticed that this guy wins and wins badly, and I turn around to try and book it up there. I don't think I would have made it. But he ends up getting this throw over the middle. And, we just got to put that in the back of our minds, What happens here, he hurries up back into bunch quads, and I end up trying to call a play and make some adjustments. Stupidly, I don't have time, but it ends up kind of working out for us. He throws a deep ball to the end zone, and we swat it away. Y off trips. So I decide to come out in palms. This is what the 2-man shell is supposed to look like in palms. This is what I hope that it looks like when I come out, right? We get good press, great press here. He's got that inside leverage, though, so he is going to come over the middle. Now, my responsibility as this apex defender is the running back. And I do a terrible job of defending the running back. And he makes a good read. Y off trips again. We come out in palms, 2-man shell. I don't know what happens. He runs everybody across. Makes a pretty decent throw, but that's a good corner, and that's a tough catch to make. The quarterback didn't make a great throw. He made a pretty decent read, though. Empty again. I believe we're in... I come out in edge blitz, and I put this guy on a curl flat, and so I'm using this guy and thinking, all right, I'm just going to, if this guy goes outside, I'm letting him take care of it. I'm going to defend over the middle. Not the best decision here. Terrible throw. He throws a hospital ball, and we get a big hit and knock it out. obviously he has this drag from his one receiver over the middle that he should have taken. Coming out in empty again. Typically, I like to blitz against empty, but we're in the red zone, so he's already looking to throw it quick, so a blitz probably wouldn't be a great decision. I try to make some adjustments here pre-snap. I completely screw up. Don't get him off in time. He has two just wide open guys over the middle, but he makes the wrong choice, and we get him to 4th and 2. He hurries up into empty again. I quickly go into Tampa 2 and then shade down, and then I user the mid-read who... Again, shaded down, everybody would be like right here, and all this is going to be wide open. So I use the mid-read to kind of sit up here when I shade down. All right. Everything's pretty boxed up. He does end up having some open guys in here, but he would have to be throwing it like right now, and that would be a tight window. And he ends up seeing it late. All right, making the throw. If that was a good throw, it would have been an interception. We get the turnover on downs. Here, we just come out in a simple run. Just got to get some yards. Now, what I notice here, this is really important. What I notice here, he does his user D-line again, like he's been doing, and he misses the tackle. He should have had me in the backfield, but what I noticed is that he's diving, right? He's chasing. So on the next play, I say, I'm going to run a read option. I'm counting on this guy chasing again, but he actually ends up using the other defensive end. Luckily, the read still chases, and I get to nervously try and slide and end up diving for about 10 yards. Here we're coming out on the 2x2 flanker dig. Now, this is also one of the biggest keys to upping your game is being able to recognize cover zero, right? It can be a little tricky, and just because the safeties are up does not mean they're in cover zero. But if these corners are backed off, right? That means they're probably worried about getting beat up top, okay? There's no one with deep help. There's no one within 10 yards of our slot receiver here. So this is cover zero. Now, what I recommend doing to get better at this, go into practice mode, call your favorite play with a deep post or a deep pattern of some kind, not just a streak, with some sort of deep, pattern where there's a cut move somewhere, and just run that against random defensive plays over and over again until you get good at recognizing when there's not going to be any help over the top. So I recognize cover zero here, and I'm like, uh-oh, let me get into my cover zero beater, and I think we're going to have a touchdown. This is my best receiver out here on the left running the deep post. This corner's pretty dang good, but I think my receiver's better. And so we snap it. We got our protection good. He makes the cut. And we're off to the races. All right, back on defense here. He comes out in Maryland. My tips for defending the run are get bodies in the box. There's not a ton else you can do unless you know exactly which run play they're running, which direction they're going. You can try and slant your D-line and move your D-line. That can mess things up even more, though. So my advice, get as many people, run single high and get as many people in the box as possible to defend run. He's in Maryland, so I'm assuming he's running, right? All right, comes out in a trips look. We're running palms. One thing I like to do in palms, and I learned this from Zando Football. I'll put him on the screen, XANDO Football. Zando Football, he's the man. He can get a little long-winded, but he's the man. I love that dude. I wish he'd post more. I learned this from him. Against trips and palms, a little interesting wrinkle you can throw in to really mess with your opponent, especially users. Bring your 3-rec close to the line of scrimmage, give him a blitz look, and then bring your apex or whoever's in the middle, depending on their alignment, and mug him in the gap. So what this does is it confuses the offensive line a little bit. There's now 6 potential rushers, and the O-line can get a little messed up because they don't know who's rushing, okay? Now, the user might know, hey, these guys probably aren't rushing, but their AI offensive line can get messed up. This is an effective tactic against the AI, okay? Now, he takes forever. I end up bringing my safety down because I know I can get back, okay? And he just runs 4 verticals or 3 verticals. And our linebacker fails to cover this route from the running back, this little route. But he gets hit on the throw, and we end up getting an interception, and that's why having good players is important. Okay, he comes out and trips again. I think I run palms again. Oh, no, I ran my Oki blitz. Okay, I start trying some funny stuff here. He runs the motion. I start to panic a little bit because we don't have anyone over there. And he gets an easy drop off to the flat, which, again, against that play that I was running, you kind of give up the flats. Goal line offense, again, get as many bodies as you can in the box. I probably wouldn't run goal line defense against goal line offense unless they are on the goal line or only need a yard. I'll just run like a 4-3 or something. I think he just runs up the middle here, gets a pretty decent gain. We're fine with that, though. He's not going to get that every time. All right, I run my little Oki blitz here again. I think it's called Oki blitz. I don't know. I could be tripping. This is not an Oki front. Don't listen to the Oki part, but I run that little safety blitz. They kind of feint like they're going to cover this running back. I don't know why. They're both in a blitz. So I don't know what's going on there, but I fail to cover the middle and do my job, and we get beat. Y off trips. We're going back into our man look here. This is a little bit different man play where we have a bracket coverage on this slot receiver. I probably would rather have him bracketing like the tight end, I think. But that I just don't trust that I'll ever have time to set that up. And I chose the wrong play where they end up bracketing the slot receiver instead of the tight end, which I really wanted. But anyways, let's see what happens. All right, I end up bringing my safety in on a blitz because I see that this guy took care of him pretty well. This looks like it's going well. He could hit this out, but I can't do anything about that. And I just say, you know what? I'm coming. Force him to roll out. A little 4-yard gain. Normal Y off. He's back into 2x2. I run man, but I end up taking my safety here, and instead of leaving him in a deep half, I put him in a hook curl, and then I come to user this linebacker here. Or no, I stay on the safety. Look, if you got a good D-line, crack your D-line out, man. That should be your number one priority so that you can defend the run that way. He's back in empty in the red zone. I don't even know what I'm running here. Okay, yeah, I'm in my edge blitz, and then I put our guy. This guy normally is blitzing, but I put him in a curl flat, and then I shade my guys inside. Pretty good coverage. We get him to 4th and 6. Of course, he's going to go for it. He's in trips. We're just going to run cover 1. We're going to shade underneath. He has his quick out here to his tight end, but he misses it. And even then, I'm not sure he would have got the first down. He runs verticals. I don't know what the hell he's thinking. I guess he's just planning on going to this the whole time. He does, but he's not fast enough, and we clean it up. What do we call? Smash return. Good play. Good man beaters. Again, look, he's in cover 1 damn near every play, especially as the game goes along. I don't know if he gave up. All right. Nothing here because he's running around with his user. But look how much space we have in the middle. Easy 40-yard gain. All right, we come out and bunch wide here. We get a little comeback route because we know he's in man. Another thing I'm thinking is, hey, you know what? He's in man. I looked at his roster earlier, and I know that this is a zone corner, so he's not going to be very good in man coverage. This little double move here, actually pretty good. Don't sleep on the double moves, okay? He does not have double dip, but he still cooks him on this play. Watch this. Tutty. All right, he actually gets a touchdown on this drive. He comes out in bunch Y flex. I run my little Oki, I don't know, I keep calling it Oki. I run my safety blitz. He gets his underneath route. All right, comes out in the same thing. I run a blitz with the corner or the curl flat. He gets us quick over the middle, even though I'm guessing inside. We go to Tampa 2. We're willing to give up the underneath. He's not willing to take the underneath. He gets pressured. All right, I come out in a trap coverage here against empty. Typically, if you run this play stock, this is not going to be good because you've got a lot of open stuff underneath. Now it's 3rd and 17, so maybe we give that up. But this guy typically is blitzing. I user him, however, in this instance and stop him from blitzing. But I also mug him to really confuse this D line or this O line. And if you watch what happens, they end up getting confused here on the interior. And we come in pretty much scot-free. He's getting angry. 4th and 17, he's hurrying up. I run it back, and he makes a good play. This soft squat over here, I don't know exactly the mechanics of how he's supposed to deal with this, but I'm assuming, he's in a soft squat. I still don't know exactly how the soft squat works all the time against all kinds of releases, but we get a switch release here on the right, and I think he was trying to cover this guy first and then realized, and then he just makes a good play. He beats us on 4th and 17. Empty wide tray. I'm going to run the same play. Way too long in the pocket. All right, so that's really, the game kind of got out of hand after that point. That's really all I wanted to cover for the most part. I'm going to probably just start, going over my own game film here. Just kind of analyzing myself, trying to share a little bit about what I see while playing the game. And how my brain works when I'm playing the game, because I think I'm in the top half of users that play this game, at least, which I guess isn't saying much, but I feel like I'm pretty decent, and I enjoy, talking about the game like this. So hope you learned something, and hope to be back soon.